NAU receives millions of dollars worth of funding from the Pentagon.
And we'll give you a special look at a man who helped make 2 blockbuster films.
Well, happy Friday and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Sierra Ferguson.
And I'm Jacob Larson. Thanks for joining us. The city of Flagstaff is collecting some very specific waste this weekend at the Dump the Drugs and Shredathon.
Which sounds like a really diverse, kind of crazy event, but if you take 2 bankers boxes or up to 2 bankers boxes worth of paper, you can dump them and shred them for free, as well as dumping your expired drugs and unused medications.
The Law Enforcement Administration facility will house the event beginning Saturday morning at 9, and the event will end at 1. An environmental group, Wild Earth Guardians, is suing Arizona Fish and Wildlife after the federal government did not issue a ruling to protect prairie dog populations. The group claims that a plague and recreational shooting has put the southwestern prairie dog in serious danger. In 2004, they petitioned to have prairie dogs added to the list of endangered and threatened animals.
And earlier this month, the Pentagon backed an NAU research lab with $7 million in funding. The research contract funds the study of melioidosis, or Whitemore's disease. The program hopes to provide a better understanding of the disease and how to fight it. NAZ Today's Casey Benton has more.
The Defense Threat Reduction Agency has sought out the help of NAU's Keim Laboratory in its study of the infectious disease with bioterrorist potential, melioidosis. We were able to speak with lead researcher Paul Keim for more information.
So Burkholderia pseudomallei is a bacteria that causes a disease called melioidosis. You've probably never heard of it because melioidosis is not a common disease in the United States, but it is very common in tropical regions, especially in Thailand, Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Northern Australia. And sometimes people get infected with it, and it can take a year or 2 years or even decades for it to manifest itself. So you seem to be disease-free, the bacteria is there, and then it rises up and catches you. Usually when you have another health problem, like you have a transplant.
Melioidosis can prove tricky for health professionals to diagnose due to its unique set of symptoms.
Melioidosis is sometimes called the great mimicker because it presents in the clinic. When we say presents, it's what the victim the symptoms that the victim is exhibiting when the physician sees them. So the disease presents in the clinic like many other diseases, hence the mimicker. The U.S. government is worried that, in fact, terrorists might use this as a biological weapon. And so we got money from the Army, of all places, to study this disease and how our immune systems, how our bodies react to the disease, and how they react to the bacteria when it infects us. And so understanding how our bodies respond to it can help the physicians treat it. They can also help diagnose it. And so that's why the Army put us on this task.
For NAZ Today, I'm Casey Benton.
Coming up, we'll talk to one of the creators of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
And we've seen some pretty adorable pups in the studio, but this week a new kind of animal is going to try to capture your heart. Stick with us. Award-winning writer and director Jim Burkett is also an NAU alum, and he recently came back to visit his home campus to debut his new movie before it hits theaters. That movie's called Coherence.
Yeah, and NAZ Today reporter Amani Payne sat down with him to learn more about the man behind the movies.
2 of the films that you're most well known for are Pirates of the Caribbean and Rango. So, I mean, I'm interested in knowing what was the inspiration behind these films and why do you think they've been so successful?
The first Pirates and Rango have something very special, a little weird, a little brain bendy going on there, but you know, Gore is he's a master craftsman, loves to tell a story, and especially on Rango we got together early on and said, let's just make something crazy. You know, they don't really make animated movies for older audiences. It's almost all animated movies are for little kids. Pixar tries to make it a little bit more for everybody, but we said, what if we even pushed that farther? What if we made it very strange and had violence and strange hallucinogenic sequences? And so Rango became something very special that I don't know if anything like that will ever happen again.
Wow. Speaking of films that are outside of the box, talk to me about this new film and why you're here at NAU today and kind of the process behind making it.
Yeah, Coherence is the film that I directed that I'm trying to promote and get out to the world right now. And it's this small Twilight Zone type movie. It's based on my love of Ray Bradbury stories and Twilight Zone episodes. And it's something that we're really excited about. We've won a bunch of festivals. We've been taking it all over the world and finding this audience that has embraced it. It's a very intimate character story. Basically, 4 couples gather on the night that a comet is passing, and all of this weird stuff starts happening in the house, and they have to question their own reality and their identity and their relationships, and it all starts breaking apart.
Running back to your time here at NAU, I mean, you're in the movie business, and while some view it as glamorous, there are people who see it as a very cutthroat industry. So what skills do you think NAU provided you with to survive successfully in that world?
Well, NAU for me was amazing because I was able to do so many different things. You know, as a kid, I loved so many different creative ventures, whether it was photography, illustration, acting, storytelling, music, and I got to do all that at NAU. I took photography classes, I sang in the choir, I was in theater shows, I was an illustration major. I was just around really creative people, had great teachers, and so that was my base of understanding, and that sort of set me up to be able to function around people, especially people who were just focused on one area. I had a much broader base to draw from.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining me in the studio today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And make sure you all look for Coherence in theaters this summer.
This Saturday is the NAU Blue and Gold Spring Football Game. The game will be the center of an all-day event including free giveaways, a mechanical bowl, and photo booths. NAU will also reveal what the It's Coming surprise is. Kickoff is at 2 o'clock at Lumberjack Stadium.
Well, between now and the big game, the Coconino Humane Association brought in an animal aside from a dog today. So we have a different kind of cuddly critter in the studio for this week's Pet of the Week. Here's Danny Davila.
I'm Danny Davila, and with me today is Adam Collado and his friend Little Henny. They're from the Coconino Humane Association, and Little Henny is our pet of the week. Can you tell me a little bit more about her?
Little Henny is a 2-year-old domestic short-haired gray tabby. She is spayed. She's ready to go home today. She's quite the explorer. She loves to get out and explore. She's a great cat. She just came in the other day. So we're still trying to get to know her, but she is a great cat that we got from Holbrook just yesterday.
Now, how old did you say she was?
She's 2 years old.
Is she going to get any bigger? She looks like a small kind of cat.
She might get a little bit chunkier, but probably not. She seems like a little bit of a smaller cat.
And then even though you guys got her just the other day, can you tell me a little bit more about her personality?
Like I said, she loves to explore. She's a lover. She's purring right now.
Oh.
I'm sure with a lot of play, she'd be a great cuddler. But yeah, we're still trying to get to know her on a personal level. So.
And then how did she come into the shelter? What's her backstory?
She came in from a rescue. Sometimes we bring cats in from other humane societies like Holbrook, Cottonwood, and various other places where if we have plenty of room, we can bring some animals in to help them get home a little bit faster.
Does she have any daily activities that she likes to do?
Right now, she just has playing with the volunteers that we have at the Humane Society, which they bring her out and play with toys just for now. So she's pretty secluded to one room.
So do you know how well she does with other animals?
She seems to be all right with other cats. She's grabbing my back.
Oh no.
Come on, girl.
It's okay. I think she's a little bit scared to be in the studio. It's all new to her.
Yeah, she wants to get out and roam around.
Well, thank you very much for coming to the studio. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to learn more about Little Henny here or the Coconino Humane Association, you can visit our website, naztoday.com.
Well, Little Haney and the other pets that the Humane Association hosts can be adopted at the shelter. The Humane Society also accepts donations through their website.
Will Mother Nature rain on NAU's spring football festivities?
Find out in our weekend weather report coming up.
I was an ordinary guy, but I switched to Suddenlink's new internet, and now I can't stop being awesome, because it's the fastest in town. Downloads, uploads, any kind of load, everything just flows, at speeds 13 times faster than phone company DSL. Even when the whole family is online, there's no buffering. With DSL, we were suffering. Yep, anything the phone company can do, I can do faster. Now that I have the next big thing from Suddenlink, now that I have a house full of easy.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
All right, Ugh, another super duper windy day out there today. High temperature still above average. We're in the mid 60s today in Flagstaff. 61 is the average for this time of year. Haven't had any moisture around here in quite some time, or any significant moisture. We're about at 62% of average since the water year back in September 1. The good news about all this wind is it's bringing in some moisture moving in with this storm system. Today, the storm moving into California, bringing some much needed moisture. We're out ahead of it, and all the strong southwesterly winds gusting up around 45 miles per hour across Arizona today, bring much needed moisture all the way through California throughout the day today. This low pressure center moves through Arizona as we get into the overnight tonight and through the day on Saturday. The cold front is going to bring us some much needed moisture as well. So tonight, windy all night long, rain developing, snow levels will be right around 8,000 feet throughout the night. But right around sunrise, I'm expecting snow levels to drop to town here in Flagstaff, and throughout the day on Saturday, drop down to 6,000 feet, even 5,500 feet or so. And it's going to be a snowy Saturday out there with this pretty strong storm system. 2 to 5 inches of snow in the forecast for elevations above 6,000 feet. 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of rain is forecast for the lower elevations, up to 8 inches of snow for the San Francisco peaks and elevations above 8,000 feet. So for us overnight tonight, 35 degrees. It'll remain windy. I think after midnight we start getting a little rain, and by sunrise it's kind of a rain-snow mix for us here in Flagstaff. Throughout the day tomorrow, snow showers all day long, even some thunder snow. High temperature 42 degrees here in Flagstaff, 2 to 5 inches of snow. Statewide, Sedona 54 and rain, Prescott 47, Payson 46. And here's a look at that extended forecast for us. Storm system's over by the time we get after sunrise on Saturday. It quickly exits off to our east. Temperatures slowly start to climb for us here in Flagstaff. 52 on Sunday. Down in Sedona, expect rain all throughout the day on Saturday. 54 degrees, back into the 60s by the end of the weekend. Guys, back over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Lee.
Stay tuned for the Overtime Show right after this, and have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.